Hello, divas. No one is on yet, but I hope that everybody who will be coming in is having a wonderful start to 2019 on the first Thursday of the new year. This will be our first Facebook Live event of 2019. We had our previous one along with Living Beyond Breast Cancer via their Ask the Expert segment, along with the fantastic lymphedema therapist, Wilma Hazelwood. We will provide a link to that video with LBBC in the comments below. But again, I wanted to just welcome everybody who is joining in right now and let you know that we are announcing a new little giveaway for the beginning of the new year. We are going to be providing a full year's supply of LympheDIVAs garments, a total of 10 sets. If you are interested, all you need to do is encourage your friends to like our page, so we can reach our goal of 10,000 Facebook fans. And once we have done that, we will draw the winner of the giveaway. If we do that, we will post the link to the post where you can enter by tagging a friend to like our page, or post a picture of yourself in the LympheDIVAs garments. We will put this information up as well for what you need to do so that you can win this full year's supply of 10 total sets. And I will go over this again a little bit later in the live event as well for folks who are just joining now. But as we get started and people are joining in, the real goal of this is to really provide an opportunity for all of you who are watching and listening to provide any questions that you have about lymphedema in general, our garments, anything that you're concerned about. Hey, Dina, that's my sister-in-law. I'm glad that she has joined. Hi, Sally. Haven't spoken with you in a while, but hope things are all doing great. Yeah, really this is just an opportunity for all of you who are either currently wearing our garments or interested in wearing our garments to really ask any questions that you may have and that we hopefully can answer. Obviously, we can't get into anything, specifically medical questions about you and your particular issues, but if you've got anything general, we are more than happy, and by we I mean me, more than happy to do my best to answer. Obviously there is a lot that we really don't know about lymphedema. That's one of the biggest things that I have learned in my past 8 years of running LympheDIVAs. After my father had picked it up after my sister had passed away. And what we had really discovered early on was there really just is not a lot of definitive facts. What is known and what the therapists and physicians use very much is a lot based on their own experience, which is a great way to start, but the science behind it makes it very hard to make definitive statements. One of the biggest questions that we have often been asked is, what level of compression do I need to be wearing? Sadly, that is not something that we can specifically answer, but it is something that your lymphedema trained therapist or your physician may be able to answer for you. The most common compression classes or sizes. Hey, Cheryl, how are you doing? Thank you so much for loving our garments. One of the typical sizes, especially for upper or compression classes for upper extremity garments, are 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury, a higher level of 30 to 40 millimeters of mercury, or even a lower level of 15 to 20. Now, what we mean when we say 15 to 20 or 20 to 30, what we're talking about is the amount of compression that is getting delivered on your wrist. It's not that it's 30 here and 20 up here, or 20 here and 30 here. It's that the compression level should begin at the wrist somewhere, if we're talking about a 20 to 30 millimeter of mercury garment, somewhere between 20 millimeters and 30 millimeters of mercury, depending on the size of your wrist, as well as the size and construction of the garment. And then it should get less as you move up your arm. What we have done to help make sure that you are receiving the right amount of compression that your therapist is asking for, and that it is actually graduating appropriately, is the development of our Fitter's Aid tool. This tool can be found on our website, and we'll post the link to that as well. What the tool is doing is it's taking the circumferential measurements for your arm at the wrist, the thickest part of your forearm and your bicep. And if you're wearing a handpiece, it's looking at the thickest part of your index finger as well as around your palm here, all the way around. And it's able to convert those circumference measurements into an approximate value of delivered compression. And we have developed this tool utilizing testing that we have done internally, using compression testing equipment in a series of different size tubes so that we can figure out what the compression curve is that enables us to convert your circumference to an approximate amount of delivered compression. And that way you and your therapist or your physician have more information beyond just how it feels to make sure that you are getting an appropriately sized garment that is delivering compression safely and accurately, depending on what your therapist is asking to do. Meg, thank you so much for saying that your mother loves these. I'm glad that she does too. Amparo, I'm sorry, I really don't know Spanish. I haven't taken since about 4th grade, and it would be a horrible thing for me to try to do right now. But you may be able to find some Spanish dealers where you are. If you look on our website, we do have worldwide dealer locators, and there could be somebody that is familiar with speaking Spanish to you. Annie, thank you so much for the great statement. You know, being able to feel unique in these and make them your own is a big part of who we are and what we're trying to do. You know, we understand that by being able to choose your designs, choose your colors, it gives you some control over this disease, and feeling in control can very much have a positive impact on your overall body as well. So again, for those folks that may have missed it at the very beginning, the big news today is that we are giving away a full year's supply of LympheDIVAs garments, which would be 10 sets in total, completely of your choice. To do that, we have the link posted above, but really the goal here is for us to get 10,000 fans on our Facebook page and really spread the word about who we are and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to do to help everybody else. So for the folks that are watching now, you know, if anybody does have any questions, would be more than happy to answer them. At the moment, we don't have a specific dealer within Brazil, Miriam. You know, we are trying to see if there is an existing medical supply company that would be interested in importing our products. But for right now, you could always purchase them directly on our website, and we do ship everywhere in the world. The other thing that I want to add, I don't know if there are any physical therapists or occupational therapists watching, but really this is more towards the physical therapists. We will be at the American Physical Therapy Association conference coming up in Washington, D.C. at the end of January. If you are coming by, please try and stop by our booth. We're at number 638. We would be more than happy to say hello, let you see, touch, feel, try our garments, show you what this fitter's aid is and how it works and what it's trying to do. Vicky, glad you love the giveaway. Please try and help us get to 10,000 fans. I think that it's something that we are trying to do to really kind of kickstart us, you know, in the new year and put us at a great spot. So, you know, again, you know, the purpose of this particular Facebook event really is to try and give an opportunity for you to ask questions. I don't know if anybody has either any concerns or questions about the garments, what they're doing, what they're not doing, anything that they may have heard from a therapist or somebody else that they want to ask a question about. You know, we really try and pride ourselves that we are not just a company making these and selling things, but you know, we're here to really help support you, to be an educational resource. And we do have white papers on our site of information that we have collected from other therapists that have written things to help educate you and inform you about what we do and what we don't know about lymphedema. Another one of the big things that I am often talking about, and something that you may have heard about, is the differences between flat knit and circular garments. I'm going to have another Facebook Live event later in the year talking specifically about that. But really what it comes down to is what is comfortable and what works for you as an individual. I had mentioned a little bit earlier that there just isn't a lot of great science about what type of garment works for any particular person, what level of compression is best for any particular person. What it really comes down to is finding a garment that is comfortable, that you will actually wear, and that manages your edema, and most importantly, that you can afford. As long as it is doing all of those things and that you can actually afford to purchase it and have it, then it is the right garment for you. All of the other pieces and requirements aren't as important as, is this actually managing your edema? If the answer to that is yes, then you have found the garment that works for you. If the answer is no, then it's a question of why isn't it, and what other things can you try to do that? Again, I just wanted to thank Living Beyond Breast Cancer for my previous Facebook Live event that I had done with them via their Ask the Expert, along with the lymphedema therapist Wilma Morgan Hazelwood, who was fantastic. If anyone is in the Philly area and needs to find a lymphedema therapist, please reach out. She was absolutely wonderful, as well as the whole team at Living Beyond Breast Cancer, in case anyone is needing some additional support through that organization. Patricia, you make a very good point, that a lot of people are really clueless about lymphedema. The resources through the National Lymphedema Network, through the Lymphatic Education and Research Network, those are some great organizations, and we'll post the links to them down here as well. One of the biggest problems is that there just isn't a lot of medical school education around lymphedema. A lot of that is because the lymphatic system, which is part of the body's venous system, isn't as well studied or understood as the arterial and venous systems. And that makes it hard for them to want to talk about it, because they just don't have the education either in school or after to help really support them and direct them as to what is happening, what these garments are doing, and how to educate their patients about it. And I also understand that, with breast cancer related lymphedema, it's very hard to discuss this, especially at the time of surgery. During that time, you being the patient, are dealing with some incredibly difficult things. And, the cancer is the most important thing. And thinking about what happens after is kind of an afterthought. And so, it makes it a very difficult conversation to have early on, but it is an important conversation to have early, so that at least people can be made aware of it. They can understand what the potential risks are, what the potential things that they can do to help minimize those risks may be. And, really just at least have it available so that you can figure out what you are willing to do and wanting to do. We do have additional resources for what you can do to help minimize risk of what is known or could be something to help minimize your risk. A lot of this is going to be very personal, though. And so what you need to do is look at these risk reduction practices, talk to your doctor, talk to your therapist, see what you are willing to do to help minimize the risk, and things that don't impact your own quality of life too greatly. But understand that if you choose not to, you may be increasing your risk, but it is not a definite thing. Everything is going to be personal to you, personal to your body, and what you decide you want to be doing at any given point. But if anybody has any additional questions, I would be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think that I am probably getting ready to close out our first Facebook Live event of the year. Vicki, that is incredibly frustrating. A lot of the physicians, especially the surgeons, sometimes don't like to talk about it. And it's a hard discussion, again, because the science is hard for them to support any definitive statements. And a lot of the medical professionals like definitive statements. It makes it so that they can be clear that they are doing the best thing that they can for their patients. Patricia, having a compression shirt, that is something that we have thought about doing here as well. Obviously we are still a pretty small, it is me, I've got 14 employees, including my father, who still helps out, and, developing new garments and things that are missing, for people suffering is something that we are interested in doing. Obviously the upper extremity, the arms and the hands has been a primary focus for us. We are looking at, as soon as we can, and as our primary R&D project is starting to do lower extremity, but looking at chest compression and truncal compression is something that I know needs to be out there. I have read on the breastcancer.org community that there was work done with, I think, Go Athletics to develop a compression shirt. This is not, I don't believe this is a medical grade compression shirt, but I have heard that a lot of them have had a positive experience from that. And you may be able to get more information if you visit the breastcancer.org website and go to their community forum on lymphedema. Laura, you were quite welcome. What we are trying to do here is really help and educate and make life as easy as possible and as comfortable as possible and as managed as possible for those dealing with this disease. Penny, Patricia is saying that Tommy Copper also has a shirt. Take a look at the Go Athletics ones. I know that if you look on some of the other online compression shop stores, you might be able to find some other truncal garments that are out there. Ultimately, just like with the sleeves, what's important is, can you find something that helps manage the edema in a comfortable way for you? Finding that garment is the most important thing, whether or not it is a Tommy Copper or something made by a medical compression company. What's important is whether or not it is actually managing the edema. Ultimately, that is everybody's goal here, whether you're a therapist, a physician, or a patient. The hope is, how do we manage this? How do we prevent it from getting worse? And how do we do it in hopefully a way that's comfortable, attractive, and something that you'd actually want to wear? That was what my sister's goal was when she started LympheDIVAs. Was, she had wanted that sleeve that she wanted to wear and that she wouldn't feel bad about, and wouldn't feel not necessarily embarrassed when people came up to her, but she wanted it to be a positive discussion about something cool and fun, and not necessarily a negative discussion about a medical disease. The options, that are out there for compression, you can always, look out there. If people have ideas, requests, either issues that they've found with our garments that they'd like us to improve, or garments like Patricia is saying of, trying to develop a trunk garment, those are things that we'd like to know. We can't make something better or make something that you need unless we hear from you that it's needed. And the more feedback that we get, the more that we can do to produce, innovate, and get garments out there that are effective and that all of you like. So unless somebody has another question, I think I will end it. I wish all of you a very happy and healthier new year. And again, if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us via email or give us a call. We'll post the information in our comment section, and I look forward to hearing from you and helping all of you. So thank you very much, and have a happy new year.